Hey everybody, how are you doing this evening? Welcome to Vespers. Sorry we're getting started just a little bit late. It took a few minutes for YouTube to pick the feed up, and anyway, we are here together now. So one of the things that we I did tonight was add an extra microphone here, so hopefully this will pick things up a little better. And I was just checking to make sure it comes through okay. So if you're not hearing me and I'm just making weird noises or weird hand motions and no noises, just put it in the chat here, and I'll catch on hopefully and unplug this mic and get it to work better. So anyway, we're so glad that you have joined us here this evening, that you have gathered together so that we can have a few moments together to see how the Wallaces are doing. We'll check up with them in just a few minutes. But wherever you find yourself tonight, we want you to know that you are not alone. So tonight we're going to light a candle to remember all those who are suffering, and also to remember that God is present with us in all of our sufferings. And we remember that the presence of Christ is here with us, in us, among us, and beyond us, even if we burn our fingers a little bit when we're lighting the candle. It's great to be able to say to you tonight that Jeff Fox has returned home. It's wonderful news for Teresa and the family, and for us as well. I know so many of you have been praying so much for Jeff, and we know there's a long road ahead, and we offer our continued prayers and support, and we also rejoice together in this news. Wonderful to hear, and we will keep praying and keep supporting as much as we can, however we can. Yesterday, the kids and I had the opportunity to go on a walk. We went over to the subdivision across the way and walked around, and Jake insisted that we hold hands or interlock arms and skip. That's not usually my choice of modes for walking, and sometimes I get stuck in work mode a little too much, and it's hard for me to make that transition very quickly. But that's exactly what I needed right then, was to, hold hands and skip down the road, not worrying about what anybody else thought about us, the trio hopping down the road. It was wonderful to get to do that and to celebrate this beautiful world, as today we also remember Earth Day. We're glad to get to have such a beautiful day to celebrate and to remember how we are part of God's beloved community, part of this good world and this good creation. So tonight we're going to talk with the Wallaces. We'll find out just a little bit about how Rebecca, Jamie, Ethan, Juliet, and Millie are doing, and we might even hear from Samson as well. So, without further ado, here we go. Hey, Wallaces, how are you doing?
Good.
Great.
Good. Hi there. We're all lying.
It's did you say you're all lying?
Yeah.
That's good to know. So, well, it really is good to talk with you, and it's great to get to see you all. We don't get to see each other, as much anymore. So it's good to get to hang out and talk and see what's going on with you all. So, what have you all been doing? You been making any trips? You been going out doing anything amazing? Anything awesome to share? No.
Most times we venture out at our Lowe's.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had to wait in the long lines at Lowe's, or do they have like the?
No, I'm pretty much the only one that's been going to Lowe's, and I've not really been going that often. But no, there's not been a line, and I've been surprised at how few people are wearing masks out. I put it on when I go into the store, and then as soon as I can, as soon as I get out in the parking lot, I'm taking the thing off. But there's very few people actually in the stores in Kroger or in Lowe's that are wearing masks, which is kind of a little, I don't know, a little disconcerting, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I haven't been into Lowe's yet. I've been trying to order everything I can off Amazon. So, I'm so glad that we get to talk with you all. Not just because it's great to talk with you, but also because I think maybe you all have kind of a microcosm of what many people experience now in different stages, because we all find ourselves in so many different places. We talk to some people, they're crazy busy. We talk to some people, and there's not as much going on. And, so we have all these different places. And you all, from somebody who does a lot of travel and remote work to somebody who's a graduating senior to a high school student to a college student to somebody working in the school system, like, you all have kind of a lot of different, probably, perspectives just there. So I'd love to hear kind of what you all are doing to kind of stay sane. Have things changed for you since you've been, having to physical distance from other people and stuff?
Millie cut bangs. Millie cut her own bangs.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. You did a good job.
And and you probably can't tell, but she also colored her hair too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's probably the least sane.
How surprising. We didn't think she'd be the one who'd lose it first.
Well, it worked out good, though. You don't look insane at all. It looks wonderful.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah.
They look really sharp. It's okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Me, as far as I'm planning on growing out the Joe Exotic haircut. I'm gonna get the mullet going, dye my hair up the top, and then go ahead and just shave off, to get the proper beard. That's what I'm going for.
That's why you're saying me to
That's going to be a great look. It's going to go well for you.
I think so. I'm going to be an internet sensation. I do believe.
Well, when you get this ready, let us know, and we'll check back in and see how things are going.
All right, good deal.
Yeah. No.
So, Jamie, how about you? Since you started off there, what are the things? How have things been different for you? What are you doing to maybe stay sane now?
Oh, I'm taking my afternoon siestas, which is absolutely fantastic. I've been reading. I think I've finished Netflix, and I'm about finished it, and I'm about halfway through Amazon now. That's about it. Really not dealing with the kids all that much. Letting them sleep till 2:00 in the afternoon's been working out pretty good.
Done lots of work.
We've done a lot of housework. Gotten a good garden going. I've got a lot of peppers growing right now, so I'll be ready to make some hot sauce before too long. Other than that, just moving along.
Yeah. What about you, Ethan? How have things been different since you have to come back from college? You got to back in with the family. So there's a lot of changes already.
Yeah, I'm doing online school. It sucks. I'm not really able to keep up like I was when it was real school. It's kind of hard, but other than that, sleep until 2 every day. I'm making some art to keep my mind off of things. That's about it. Playing lots of video games. My life has just become a series of me playing video games and not doing my homework and regretting it, and that's all there is.
Well, now you're a philosophy major, right?
I'm a double major in philosophy and political science, yeah.
Okay, so do you have any philosophical thoughts on this situation?
No thoughts, head empty.
He was on the dean's list last semester.
Yeah, I was.
We'll see about this semester.
No, this semester I'm going to do pass-fail for like half my classes because I just can't keep up with them like I used to be able to. Yeah. No. I don't know. I guess I've just been thinking about like how fragile all of our institutions are, and it just took one little strong gust of wind to knock everything down. Nothing's probably ever going to be the same after this, or hopefully it won't be the same. So, I don't know. What does that mean for the state of our country and democracy and faith and everything, I guess that's what I've been thinking about, though I haven't come to any conclusions that are worth anything. So, you can check back with me on that later.
Well, I will, But those are all thoughts that we need to be thinking about. So, if not, maybe you can do some art that will, you can show us, that'll help us plumb the depths of those good questions.
Yeah.
So, well, good. Well, what about you, Millie? Other than cutting your bangs, dyeing your hair.
A lot of schoolwork. A lot. My teachers are giving me more schoolwork than what I had in actual school. But main thing is the bangs. Going a bit crazy. I love my family. A little tired of seeing them now. A little tired of them.
She said she's sick of our faces.
Mm-hmm. Your pretty faces.
Oh, that's
Your
sweet.
pretty faces.
That's sweet.
Does Samson? I think Samson has something to tell us too.
Well, he's definitely the most excited about this whole lockdown.
I've been taking him.
The dog is totally loving it, all the attention. The cat, on the other hand, is really wanting us to all go back to work and school. The cat's like, "Why are you guys around here? This is my palace." But
She loves having me back. I'm her favorite.
Yeah, that's what you think. The cat has no favorites.
Tolerable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Juliet, how about you?
I've been doing some paintings too, and writing, and school. But okay, I brought a painting. I did this.
Oh, can you hold it up? Can you hold it up again? That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What
Mostly the school.
what kind of painting was it?
It's watercolor.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Maybe you can post that on our Facebook group.
Totally.
Yeah. People will check in now if you don't. So do you have any thoughts on being a senior now? Your senior year and what's going on now with all this? So
Yeah, I have so many thoughts and opinions and rage. It really sucks. Yeah. I won't have a prom, which prom is stupid anyway, but I've had this unrealistic dream of becoming prom queen, so I guess that'll never happen, whatever. Or at least they'll never, know that it won't happen. So in my mind, it could have happened if we did have a prom, so really, this is good. This is okay. Okay. I'm okay with this.
You're prom queen.
I am prom queen.
yeah, problem solved.
Yeah.
It's taken care of.
But also, it sucks.
God.
My last day of school, I skipped. Oops. I left at 10.
wait a minute, you what?
Oops.
But where did you go?
Samson.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Julia.
You did spill coffee on me.
Samson spilled coffee on you. I would make you the vestal.
This is the Wallaces.
Yeah.
Raw. For real.
Like, anything really distracting.
We all crowd onto one couch and yell at each other. That's pretty much what we do.
I think that's where a lot of people find themselves right now, and it's just good to know that we're not alone.
There you go.
That
Yes.
many of us find ourselves on one couch somehow, yelling at each other. Or finding coffee spilled on us. It just
What the hot?
It's all over. It's really cold. Why are you drinking?
Well, it's so good to see you all and talk with you all. It really is. Rebecca, what about you? What have you been doing? Because I know you do a lot of travel for your job, but you also work remotely too. So
Yeah, so travel ended for all Feeding America staff at the beginning of March and has so far been extended. There's no travel through the end of May. It could go a little longer than that. So telecommuting was something I was already used to, but I was used to having the house to myself with, occasionally the dog would interrupt me, but for the most part during the day, I worked by myself. I had commandeered Ethan's bedroom when he went off to college to be my office, so I had to find a new office space when he came home. a couple months early, but that's fine. I actually have a nice office space, but it's not very private. But work's different, but it's still very strong. My job is a consultant to food bank fundraisers. So the type of consulting work that we're doing now has shifted drastically. So our team is working to assist food banks as they're trying to navigate how they fundraise, how they plan for the future, how they communicate with their publics during this really unprecedented time. I've been in food banking for 17 plus years, lived through the recession, and this is still very different than any recession or natural disaster that we've ever experienced. So it's been quite a learning curve, but that's really kept me busy. I've continued to work quite a bit. So that's what I'm doing, just trying to keep these people. That's why Jamie and I let the kids sleep late, because then I don't get interruptions. It's mostly just the dog.
Right, right, yeah. Oh, good. Well, that's something too. That we think about a lot. Those people who are already in vulnerable positions, who are food insecure to begin with, now find themselves in even more dire straits. Are there, ways that we can help? Things that we can ask people to do to help out?
The biggest struggles that food banks are facing right now is an extreme cutback in volunteers. There's so many volunteers that help the work of the food banks. Here, God's Pantry Food Bank is the food bank for our service area, and they've had to cut volunteer groups. They've had volunteers. There's so many volunteers who are retired, so a lot of people over 60 who've said, I can't do it. So volunteers is a big issue. Food donations are always needed. The beautiful thing about our society is that when crises like this happen, our society responds. And so the donations have been really good and really strong. There's a lot of need just because the need has gone up. So across the country, Feeding America estimates that food banks across the country are going to need an additional $1.4 billion in resources over the next 6 months, because the folks who are affected first are going to be the last to recover, and that's always the case when there's any type of recession. So food and money. One of the other issues that we're finding is it's hard for food banks, even when they have the money to spend on purchasing food, it's hard for them to find it. They're competing with everybody all over for food. So that's a little bit of a struggle there. We're finding in some places the markets are straightening and leveling themselves out. But it's kind of ironic in a country that produces enough food to feed every citizen that's here and more. We waste a lot of food, that when we go through economic hardships, the access to food becomes even more difficult for our most vulnerable citizens. So it's been really eye-opening about how our food distribution systems across the country.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your work and for what you're doing to make a difference there. So, and these are good things for us to think about and consider, to remember everybody in all the different places that they find themselves right now. So did you all have we had talked about maybe a devotional thought or something like that, or something else you wanted to share?
Yeah, I had something that I want to share, and then Juliet may or may not have a song she wants to share.
I do, and we're all singing it.
We'll see. So it's kind of interesting, the time frame that this has happened, as we've lived through this quarantine, through most of Lent, and now through Eastertide. And a couple of months ago, I've sort of lost track of time, but at some point in the not too distant past, Jan Cottrell came and filled the pulpit one Sunday while Mark was out, and her sermon was about resurrection. And that was a really meaningful sermon to me, because it got me thinking about resurrection ongoing process of resurrection throughout our lives, and that resurrection is not just about Jesus and Easter resurrection, but lots of opportunities for resurrection throughout our lives. So anyway, I made a kind of a what I'm calling it my quarantine pros and cons list, and that sort of leads up to this resurrection. So I'm going to share this with you. So here's some of the bad things about quarantine during COVID-19. Social isolation, people dying, people very, very sick. Juliet missing out on all the best parts of her senior year of high school, including prom and graduation, and even senior skip day. School children who may not get enough to eat, and some families struggling to make ends meet. I don't get to travel for work for 3 or more months. The economy, small local owned businesses that may not survive. Our grocery bill has doubled, at least. Millie's first lacrosse season came to an abrupt halt. Long overdue haircuts. Distance learning. And I'm sure there's several more, like kids, teenagers' sleep schedules getting way off pattern. But then there's some good that I think is going to come out of this. Extra time with our kids. Teaching them, or at least attempting to teach them how to cook a little bit more so than we have in the past. Seeing more of our neighbors at a socially responsible distance, because we're seeing so many more people just out walking the dogs, just walking the neighborhood, walking their children. Just seeing a lot more of that. Extra time has allowed us to get our yard work done and our planting started, as Jamie talked about. I think there's going to be a little bit of a reset just for society in general, which was probably needed more than we realized. I think it provides us clarity about what's really important and the people who are important to us. We're seeing amazing acts of charity being displayed everywhere. People making face masks for lots of other people, donations to charitable organizations, people taking food to neighbors and sending sweet surprises in the mail, and so many more examples that we're seeing of just a beautiful acts of charity and love. All the memes, they're just all so much fun. We're actually talking to some family members more than usual because of online chat platforms and just that recognition of how important family is. We pulled out Millie's sewing machine for the first time since my mom died so that we could attempt to make some face masks. People rallying around those small locally owned businesses to try to keep them afloat. Everyone seems to be looking for the good in society and in others. And this happened in the spring, which is my favorite season because it's a representation of God's promise of new life, and it's a form of resurrection. So I found a Bible verse that I wanted to share from 1 Corinthians 15. It's 1 Corinthians 15, 35 through 44. So bear with me. And I'm reading this from the Message because I just happen to really enjoy that translation. It says, some skeptic is sure to ask, show me how resurrection works. Give me a diagram. Draw me a picture. What does this resurrection body look like? If you look at this question closely, you realize how absurd it is. There are no diagrams for this kind of thing. We do have a parallel experience in gardening. You plant a dead seed. Soon, there is a flourishing plant. There is no visual likeness between seed and plant. You could never guess what a tomato would look like by looking at a tomato seed. What we plant in the soil and what grows out of it don't look anything alike. The dead body that we bury in the ground and the resurrection body that comes from it will be dramatically different. You will notice that the variety of bodies is stunning. Just as there are different kinds of seeds, there are different kinds of bodies. Humans, animals, birds, fish, each unprecedented in its form. You get a hint at the diversity of resurrection glory by looking at the diversity of bodies not only on earth, but in the skies, sun, moon, stars. All these varieties of beauty and brightness. And we're only looking at pre-resurrection seeds. Who can imagine what the resurrection plants will be like? The image of planting a dead seed and raising a live plant is mere sketch at best. but perhaps it will help in approaching the mystery of the resurrection body. But only if you keep in mind that when we're raised for good, alive forever. The corpse that's planted is no beauty, but when it's raised, it's glorious. Put in the ground weak, it comes up powerful. The seed is sown natural. The seed grown is supernatural. Same seed, same body, but a difference from when it goes down in physical mortality to when it is raised up in spiritual immortality. So that verse, that passage gives me hope for what I think the new normal will be, for the lessons that we learn when we come out of this, that if we play our cards right and if we recognize the beauty and what can come out of this, that we will have a resurrection of sorts, and that hopefully when we come out of this, we'll come out of this better, stronger, more beautiful, more appreciative of God, more appreciative of our families. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you so much. It's so great to talk with you all. Do you have a song?
Okay, guys.
No.
Just look at the paper. Just look at the paper and read and sing. Okay. Guys.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. There's a million and 4 days of fornication, and it's come along just to extend it. But the centennial problem of each population is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe socially distancing away from your friends, which makes you very sad. Wanting to risk it all to see your friends, but remembering you can't. Doing homework and doing more homework and driving yourself insane. We're watching movies and binge watching Netflix until 1 a.m.
Juliet.
As you can see, there's not a lot of stuff to do before we lower the curve.
So please stay inside and wash your hands.
Guys,
Please stay inside and don't leave your house.
Guys, and your shoes on at 5.
That was amazing.
yeah. No Grammy Awards happening for that work there.
Hi, Samson. Do you have anything to say?
Samson's really concerned. He's never seen us all sing together as a family.
And you never will again.
Ethan does have a poem that he would like to share.
I do. It's a poem that I found by Wendell Berry. Some people have probably already heard it, but I thought it was really applicable. It's called Stay Home. I will wait here in the fields to see how well the rain brings on the grass. In the labor of the fields, longer than a man's life, I am at home. Don't come with me. You stay home too. I will be standing in the woods where the old trees move only with the wind and then with the gravity. In the stillness of the trees, I am at home. Don't come with me. You stay home too.
Thank you. Yeah. It does feel like that was written for right today, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And somehow in the midst of that, find some hope too, you know. Thank you all so much. You all are a breath of fresh air, really. And it is so great to get to talk with you all and to get to hear your song. Can you send me the lyrics to your song?
Oh, absolutely. Are you going to sing it too?
No, I think he's going to need to play it so people understand what we were saying.
You should play it on
He's
Sunday.
going to need to display the lyrics.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think this may be our new hymn for the quarantine hymn.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll work on that.
Sneak peek.
Well, thank you all so much for taking time to do this. It's so great to talk with you all.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you
All right.
soon,
Bye.
hopefully.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Thanks so much, Wallaces, for sharing with us and for talking with us and telling us about what is going on in your life right now. It really is a blessing to get to see you and talk with you, and to hear your amazing music, which, if anybody was wondering, was set to the theme song from the extraordinarily popular cartoon Phineas and Ferb. We'll work on getting those lyrics out to you so you too can perform that in your home should you choose. Before we sing a song, though, Mark is going to offer a prayer for us this evening during our service, and then we'll come back, we'll sing a song together. Here's Mark.
As this day comes to a close, and during this Vespers service, join me in prayer. O God, as the shadows lengthen and the darkness comes, as night descends and temperatures drop, as our world grows still, your world and its work never ceases. The crickets chirp, the frogs croak, small animals scurry, and predators begin their hunt. Creepy crawlies are busy above, and earthworms squirm their way below. Stars twinkle, meteorites tumble, tides swell, and the planet spins. While we anticipate our comfortable beds and hope for a good night's rest, we remember you are God of heaven and earth. You never sleep nor slumber. Lord of sun and moon, ever vigilant, ever ready, ever recreating every new morning. You are God of the day. You are God of the night, and we rest in thee. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark. And now, before we go, let's sing a song together. I don't think we need words for this. If you've lit your candle tonight, let's sing this song together. This little light. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Amen. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. Thank you so much to the Wallaces for taking time out to share with us and to let us know what's going on. Thank you, Mark, for your 15 years of service at Central. We're so grateful for you, for all that you do, for your love and your care for this congregation. Thank you for offering our prayer this evening as well. So, to all of you, peace and love and blessings to you. Amen. Are you still watching? We're done. What are you still doing
Hi,
here?
people.
You're supposed to be gone.
I don't know.
Why are you here?
Okay.
Okay, what are we even doing?
Too much.
I don't know. Maybe we should go.
Okay, this.
Okay. Bye.